My phone showed a green motion dot to the right, but there was no one there, just my breathing and the wind coughing through some broken vent. I double-checked everything: spare flashlight, power bank, first aid kit, respirator. Security didn't patrol this far out. The basement entry was through a collapsed laundry room wall. I came alone. Always do. No one to panic, no one to make noise. Just silence and me. They closed this sanatorium 10 years ago. Locals say you can still hear footsteps at night. I don't believe in ghosts. Every sound has a source, and I like finding it. Crawling through the crack, dust slid down my jacket. The air was thick with mildew and old soap. My flashlight cut through the corridor: pale blue tiles, a torn "wash your hands" poster, a frozen puddle around a rusted can. I switched off my main light and listened. Several vents somewhere above me hissed faintly. Then, a slow metallic clink echoed from the second hallway, like someone dragging a chain across a sink. My throat tightened. I checked my map. That section should have collapsed years ago. The chain sound came again, longer this time, closer, until it stopped just outside the laundry doorway. My motion sensor blinked again. I turned the flashlight on. Nothing. Just a dripping pipe, swinging slightly, like someone had brushed against it seconds ago. The sound stopped. For a few seconds, there was only the steady dripping from the pipe. I felt my pulse pounding in my ears. I stepped forward, shining my light into the side corridor. The beam caught a rusted wheelchair lying on its side. One of its wheels twitched, like it was still moving from something's touch. I walked toward it, slow, measured steps. My boots echoed on the tile. When I passed the first door, the smell hit me, sharp, chemical, like disinfectant gone sour. Inside was a treatment room: broken bed frame, shattered glass, dark stains on the linoleum. My breath clouded in the cold air. I leaned closer to inspect the marks on the floor. They weren't blood, too dry, too even, maybe paint. Then the light flickered. Once. Twice. Then died. Everything went black. My stomach dropped as I reached for the backup flashlight. Before I could switch it on, I heard a faint shuffle behind me. Bare feet, slow, dragging. Then breathing, wet, uneven, so close it moved the air near my neck. I spun around, beam snapping back on. Empty hallway. The dust I'd kicked up still hung in the air, floating like mist in the light. I forced myself to breathe. I told myself it was sound echoing through pipes. But when I glanced down, I saw a single wet footprint on the dusty floor. Barefoot. Pointing toward the stairwell. I backed away, the light trembling slightly in my hand. I should have left then. But something in me needed to know. So I followed the print. It led down the stairs, each step darker, colder, until I reached the basement door. The hinges were sealed with rust, but it was open just enough for me to see a faint red glow pulsing from inside. And then, under the hum of my flashlight, I heard something else, a slow, rhythmic clicking. Like someone tapping metal against tile. In a pattern. 3 beats, pause, 3 beats again. I pushed the basement door open with my shoulder. The rust screamed against the frame. The red light flickered once, a single bulb hanging from a cable, swaying slightly. The room beyond was larger than I expected, maybe an old boiler area. The air was thick, metallic, and warm. I stepped in, careful not to let the door shut behind me. The floor was wet. My flashlight cut across puddles and broken pipes. Then I saw the source of the sound. A length of chain hung from a ceiling hook, tapping against a rusted pipe. The motion was too regular, too deliberate. The air moved like someone had just brushed past me. I turned the flashlight toward the far wall, and froze. There were dozens of wet footprints, all bare, all small. They covered the floor in messy circles, leading to a drain in the center. Water seeped from it, slow and dark. Each drop echoed like a clock. The red light flickered again. For half a second, something moved, a shadow bending where no body stood. It stretched toward the ceiling, thin and trembling. Then it snapped back and vanished. I ran. Up the stairs, past the wheelchair, past the "Wash your hands" poster. My own steps chased me through the corridor. When I reached the hole I'd crawled through, I nearly tore my jacket squeezing out. Outside, I didn't stop until I reached the car. The building loomed behind me, silent again. My hands shook as I unlocked the door. When I glanced at my phone, the motion sensor was still active. 1 dot. Moving. Inside the building. Following the same path I'd just taken. Then, the last ping came from directly behind my car. I turned. Nothing. Only the forest, still and dark. But in the cold air, I swear I heard 3 soft taps, metal against tile, coming from somewhere deep underground.